Welcome back to Simone Sees. I am back with another energetic tap in, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and tap on into this energy. And this is a general message, but I do have a couple of downloads that came with this message. So I'm getting a lot of masculine versus feminine energy, okay? Right before I tapped into this download, I was researching my ancestry, and it led me to this history regarding the Levantines, okay? I hope I'm saying that right. And pretty much the history was of the one that stuck out to me, the battle of the masculine and feminine, right, was the king of Israel, Ahab, was married to Jezebel. Jezebel wanted to keep her own religious beliefs and cultural practices, but Elijah, who was king of Israel, Ahab, he was like his main man, his main dude. He wasn't feeling Jezebel because he felt like she should convert to him, and she should pretty much submit to what he wanted. This whole ordeal throughout I was reading it was mostly influenced by Elijah, which was the king's partner. We're gonna say it in you know what I'm saying, hood terms. It was the king's partner and his other partners who kind of had a problem with Jezebel because she didn't want to conform to whatever his religion was, okay? So I'm getting a lot about masculine versus feminine energy. Now, earlier today, we was having some, me and my daughter was tripping because we kept having these instances where a light would flip on and we know we did not touch the light, right? So we having the more supernatural occurrences, whether you believe in that or not, you know, we know what it is, right? So first she did it, and I knew she was tripping. She was like, I don't want to say nothing because I know I'm not tripping. But when it happened to me, and I was like, nigga, excuse my language, I'm like, this just happened. And I said, I know for a fact, this is in broad daylight, I know for a fact I didn't do that. And she was like, okay, I'm not tripping because it happened to me too. So we going back and forth. After we discussed it and we like, okay, we not tripping, we both started singing different songs, but it had to do with lights. So I'm singing Rihanna, all the lights in here, baby, extra bright, I know y'all can see it. I'm in the room singing that, and I'm like, now I don't know why I'm singing this song. And my daughter like, you singing that, and I'm over here singing Future, turn up the lights, I'm looking for you. Okay, so she's singing Future and I'm singing Rihanna, but we both are singing about lights. Okay, so something is going to be about cutting on the lights or something being illuminated when it comes to something. Okay, so I'm going to start with a golden mantra to get the foundation of this reading, and we just going to get right on into it and see. Now on the bottom of the deck, it's a little bit of a pre-shuffle. The Three of Swords came out as a challenge, and it was actually in the upright at first, right? So this is giving me reconciliation, overcoming sorrow, lots of healing. Definitely could have to do with some reconciliation between lovers, okay? Letting go and forgiving something. With the Temperance in the reverse under the Lovers, I feel like this is a lack of perspective. So two opposing perspectives, or two people with opposing views in regard to a situation, okay? New Moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle begins as well, and the Three of Swords is giving Libra energy as well, but we're gonna see what this is all about, okay? Then I realized how much, okay, so when I was talking about that story when it comes to Jezebel, right? Jezebel was given a bad name, just like Medusa in them was. Jezebel was only considered, now in this day and age, she's considered this demonic, kind of rebellious, kind of hoish energy, because she didn't want to conform. So she gets the same rep as the Lilith energy when it comes to Adam and Eve and Lilith, okay? So it's historical beef between masculine and feminine energy, because a lot of the masculines in the histories, according to what I've been reading and learning more and more about, is they didn't want women in power. And many of the masculines refused to submit or have women in control. And I feel like that, for example, they stopped worshiping goddess Asherat. which is now known as Ishtar or Easter. It's so much things you have to go in depth about feminine energy and how the masculine patriarchal energies came about through rulership and domination. Okay, and then I just crazy. So it's all about domination right now. Okay, so I was watching this movie and you hear the birds chirping. It's a lot about birds chirping, so there could be a lot of conversations right now. Okay, but I was right before I tapped in again, I was watching this movie called The Secretary, right? And The Secretary, pretty much, I feel like 50 Shades of Grey stole the concept of the secretary, okay? Because in The Secretary, the man's name was Edward Grey, right? And he had this secretary who had just gotten out of a mental hospital, a feminine, and she wanted to be more independent. She wanted to find a job prior to her being released from the mental institution, because she had issues with mental health and trauma, and facing the realities when it comes to pain. So when she was triggered, she would hurt herself, okay? But in the end, she ended up working for this man, Edward Grey. She was his secretary. So it's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey went off of that plot in the movie. She was his secretary, and it turned out that the way he stopped getting her to hurt herself was inflicting pain on her through dominating her. And he could see her vulnerabilities, and that she just wanted to, she was a big people pleaser when it came. She wanted him to be pleased while she was in her job. So for her misbehaving, he started, it also has a lot to do with sexual harassment and what's defined as sexual harassment. He wasn't sexually harassing her because she was consented. She was consensual. It was consensual. That's going to be significant, okay? It was consensual. She liked it and she wanted it. Okay? She wanted it. She wanted him to. And when he stopped doing it, she began to get frustrated with him, okay? So The Secretary, for you guys to check it out. If you're 50 Shades of Grey fans, The Secretary is going to be pretty much the base. I feel like the root of what this energy is. Okay, so let's get into it, because we at 7:45. That angel number could be significant. That time could be significant. So it was 7:45 on the clock when I just said that. It's a wonderful day to speak and live in my truth at the bottom of the deck. We're going to take that out, okay? And let's see. This is in reverse. I don't empower my fears. I overcome them. Somebody is afraid to speak their truth, okay? Following this, prior to this energy, I've been trying to download this video, but YouTube is giving me shit trying to download. The title of it is Grandma Said a Lie Don't Care Who Tell It, and it's very deep, okay? Very serious situation. So y'all check that out. I'm also uploading some snippets to TikTok so you guys can get a little bit more understanding about what this reading or download is about. And yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna get one more from this deck too. In reverse, I nourish my mind, my body, and my spirit daily. Okay, so somebody needs to speak up and live in their truth when it comes to, with the one in reverse, that mind, body, and spirit energy. It's like healing something, letting something go, and live. And maybe the way to let it go is to speak the truth about it, but we're going to get further into it. This is falling out in reverse too. My intuition is my greatest guide. It speaks clearly and moves me into action. So this is talking about blockages, okay? Lots of blockages. So I'm getting a lot of sacral chakra energy and root chakra energy, okay? I honor the beauty of stillness. A busybody kind of energy is what I'm hearing, okay? Busybody. Okay, so let's see. Falling on this Three of Swords energy. So something is about needing to let go of something, okay? not honoring the beauty and stillness. So it's like somebody continues to stay on the move, on the go, and I keep hearing busybody. Okay, let's get a prayer. I want to get a prayer. I want to start in on a prayer for right now so we can enter the ancestors of the highest divine love and light into the chat, please. I ask that you bind, block, and blind any negative energies, entities, evil eyes, ill will from trying to infiltrate this space so that we can get this message out clearly and concisely and deliver it to whoever shall need it today. Thank you so much. In the name of the Father, the Mother, and the Divine Trinity, Ashe and Amen. Okay, so let's see, what is the prayer for this evening? Okay, today's prayer. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called accordingly to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Okay, August 28th could be significant, and this is we do as Romans do. Now, if you guys, I'm not going to get into it, but if you guys can really understand and look up the history of the Romans, it's giving me that movie about 300. They were very into themselves when it comes to that masculine energy, that macho energy, and they were also said to be lovers of one another during battle while they were away from their wives. Okay, so I don't know what that's all about, but I'm saying I'm hearing do as Romans do. Okay, but in this we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Okay, and then loving him, that means you're loving yourself enough to see him in you so that you can act and live in the way that God, the universe, the higher power, the most high, calls you to think, act, believe, breathe, say, embody in this realm and in this energy. Okay, let's get one more prayer. Now, I keep seeing succubus or promiscuous girl, SUV or truck. Okay, and I keep seeing also something about liver failure. Somebody could be suffering from liver failure right now because that message keeps coming out heavily. I don't know if this has to do with this energy or anything else, but I need to say that. Somebody could have succumbed to liver failure. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Deuteronomy 6:5. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. Okay, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. Okay, so let's get some signs here, and we're gonna see what energies come out. Okay, getting a lot of Venus energy. Okay, that Venus energy also traditionally, we're getting into some history today. I guess Spirit is trying to give a bit of history. Venus energy is associated with the morning and the evening star. Okay, the morning star and the night star. Now, we all know the morning star is that's pretty much the how they say Lucifer, morning star. Okay, the morning star is associated with Venus, but Venus has also been associated historically with the devil or with Lucifer, the illuminator. Okay, so it's so funny how everything is demonized, and it comes back to that historical Adam and Eve. In the beginning, Lilith was his first wife, and Lilith was a rebellious. She was rebellious. She was the energy who did not want to submit and be under the control of Adam, but however, she wanted to have, it's giving 50-50 energy, but it's not so much as going Dutch, but I have my own mind, I have my own body, I have my own soul, I have my own loves, needs, wants. I want to be able to explore the garden and see things for myself and not just take your word for it. And she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and Adam chose another person because Lilith would not submit. So it's giving that kind of historical feminine versus masculine energy. And in order to get everything back into the right standing, that fell out as a challenge. We have to bring balance back to the masculine and feminine universal energies. Okay. Yeah. Saturn here is in reverse, so it's giving that Saturn's return energy. It's giving going back to the old ways. And they say the old ways, like the Old Testament energy, came before, it came after they demonized everything when it comes to femininity, okay? So the old way is the old way when women helped lead, okay? And when women had control over things, and that's when the land was abundant because there was so much more love. But I was looking, like how I talked about in my last reading, about how even in the visit to the hospital, the roles reversed. The women were very nonchalant, they were very withdrawn, very disdain, very disattached, okay? And the men were compassionate. The men showed concern. The men were gentle. The men were caring. The men reflected the embodiment of empathy while we were visiting the hospital and my son was being treated. So I noticed the different role reversals of masculine and feminine energy. Where the masculines, shout out to the masculines, and shout out to my boy Joshua today at PNC. He's one of those energies. I hope you and your fiance have a blissful and productive and prosperous union, because he was one of those energies that I'm talking about, when the masculine energies embody a feminine energy in such a healthy way, with the compassion, the understanding, and the patience that's required to get the job fucking done. You did that, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Joshua Jordan, and shout out to you. Y'all give that boy a raise because he did his thing. Thank you, my love, for helping me so much. And shout out to your fiance for being a balanced partner for you, okay? So I want to go ahead and tap into this energy here, okay? We got fire energy, so this could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So I'm getting into this, look, fire. This is Queen of Wands energy. This is that feminine energy with the courage. And I was drawn to light my yellow candle for courage, willpower, that high self-esteem, that action energy, okay? So fire energy, sun energy with the, look at this, masculine and feminine energy coming out right here. So I feel like this is what this is all about. This is balancing the masculine and the feminine energy, and this is universal energy, you guys, okay? We have Pisces energy at the bottom of the deck here. This is giving me that intuition energy with the emotions, okay? Look, and Saturn here. I feel like it's time, in this Uranus energy with the time on his head, I feel like it's time for things to be balanced out when it comes to this feminine energy. Masculine and feminine alike getting more in touch with their intuition and with their emotions, okay? Overcoming sorrow, letting go, healing, releasing, forgiveness, feeling hopeful, optimistic recovery. And we're talking a lot about recovery, okay?